Hmm. Hey there, welcome everybody. How y'all doing? Let's see if I can get this on the charger without hurting myself. Ow. Welcome to Sidetrack Sunday, everybody. Hey there, Chuck. How you doing, Bob? Good to see you. Welcome to you, James and John and JD. Appreciate y'all coming in. Good to see y'all. Um, it's been a minute since I've been on. I think I got COVID like the 28th, and I didn't know it was COVID, but I think that's what that turned out to be. And then I got flu A after that, and so we had Mardi Gras in full swing here now, and I did that yesterday morning. We had a good time. Hey there, David. Good to see you. And we had a great time doing that yesterday. I caught a train from a parade float. I was riding in a parade float yesterday in the parade in Biloxi, and or D'Iberville, excuse me. No, Biloxi, and I actually caught a train from the parade float. So I'll have a video coming out on that. That'll be cool. And then in the process of unloading huge Tupperwares full of beads and doubloons and toys. Hey there, Rusty. How's it going? In the process of unloading doubloons and beads and toys and drinks and food and snacks from the parade float, I hurt my back yesterday. Hey there, Joe Rader. Good to see you, man. And I strained it or whatever, you know. I've kind of got a back that if I pick up and twist the wrong way, I can be out of commission a few days. And so I've got myself propped up pretty good here now. I've been laying down pretty much the since I got back yesterday and doing ice off and on and an ice pack. And hey there, Wigwag, good to see you, Steven. And oh, and I get to switch to the heat tonight, is what they say to do. So kind of looking forward to that. But really, the ice was a blessing. Um, it kept it from kind of locking up so bad, and so I appreciate that. Um, I had someone talk me into and help me encourage me to use the ice pack. Um, I kind of always thought, would be heat there, and but when I looked into it and looked it up, it looks like you should do. I understand, Rusty, and I do primarily, but at any rate, I'll get back to that in a minute. But um, I always would do heat, but evidently the first 24 or 36 hours you're supposed to do cold off and on a strained muscle, and then switch once the swelling stops or whatever to the heat. It says that if you put the heat on there and you still feel pulsing and throbbing in it, it's too early to do that. So thank you, Ray. Good to see you. But Rusty, I go. My girlfriend is was in a parade today, and then she was in the parade with us yesterday, and then she was in a parade on Friday as well. And no, you know what? Really, Bob, I think what happens with me is I think if I get real bad tension, I think like when I do get tension issues, I think they kind of go to my lower back, and it's kind of weird, and it might just be in my head, but it almost feels like when I am experiencing stress and tension and it goes to my lower back, it's almost like it's easier for me to strain it or stress it or something. And that doesn't make sense to me, but it just seems like that's what happens. But no, I don't. I don't really do anything. As far as additionally to strengthen that area, I don't have problems regularly. Um, I can go a couple years without straining it, but then I can do it a couple times in a year too. Just depends. So I didn't know, David. I didn't know because what it seems like is like if I'm dealing with a lot of tension or stress. First of all, I know that's where I carry it. You know, I'll carry it in my lower back muscles and stuff. Um, and then, sure enough, it just seems like kind of the perfect storm will happen where um, I'll have some issues with that, and then I'll also be doing some moving and picking up and carrying things, and it's almost like a snowball effect or something like that, because it usually doesn't happen that much, but the Alice had a parade Friday. She rode, and she's in a lot of organizations. She had a parade Friday. She rode in, and then Saturday we did one, and then she rode in one today, and then she's got another one on Tuesday. And but I on Saturday is the only day the kids can go. That's the day where even the adults on the floats don't drink, which is rare, you know. But the Saturday morning, the day parade, is the parade for the obsession. Yeah, that's not a bad idea. Rather than fighting all those fools, but the Saturday day parade in her Mardi Gras organization, even the adults don't drink and stuff on the float for the day parade, and so there's lots of kids on the float, and so AJ got to go, and so I'm kind of a kid too, so I went, "Hey Ray, good to see you, man. Thank you for joining us." So um, I'll be with y'all about as long as I can, and hopefully we can stick in there most of the time. I do got a lot to talk about, but like some of the stuff I wanted to show you tonight, I'm not going to be able to do because I'm not going to be able to get up and run around the room. And I guess I could kind of start with that. Um, so uh, because I do have monetization, I guess I left it on, but it shouldn't be on. It shouldn't be on mid rolls because when you set it on low, you shouldn't have mid rolls. It should be when you come in possibly and when you leave, I would think. But anyway, so what I was going to talk about, one thing is this guy right here, and I might show you a little bit about it in a little while, but this is just a gimbal, right? But it's a smart gimbal, and it's really cool. It kind of connects to your phone. It actually gives my iPhone video filming capabilities that the iPhone didn't have before when it's not hooked up to it. I noticed that at the parade. I was looking for a function that when my iPhone's on this, just in the regular camera app, it has more functions and different functionalities and options. Like I can flip from front camera to back camera while I'm filming when I'm connected to this. Also, it tracks. It tracks within YouTube. It tracks outside of YouTube. I don't think it tracks the train. There is an AI thing you can add to it, but it still doesn't say for sure whether or not it would track the train. But thank you, John. But this guy right here will track me. I can walk all around the train room and everything, and this thing will follow me and everything. It's really cool. I was going to show y'all a little more about that. Hey there, Carolina Foothills Railway. Good to see you. And so I was going to go put this in the bigger room in there, and I was going to set it in the middle and walk around and run around and stuff and have it track me. Obviously, I'm not going to be able to do that now. But I can, I will possibly towards the end, I'm going to throw the phone on here and you kind of see, I'll show you a few functions. It can also change from vertical to horizontal shooting within shot 2 through a button on here as well. And so this is pretty cool. And the other thing that we got after 2.5 months on back order was this guy right here. And man, it is something else. It's the Bambu H2S. They've got a new H series for Bambu. Hey there, Sparky. Good to see you. Hold on, Sparky. Look here. I'm representing. This says Sparky 107 107 if you can't read it. Anyway, good to see you, Sparky. Um, that kind of hurt. Anyway, this is the new Bambu H series right here, and it's the H series is the larger print capacity. See, most of them are getting a little bigger now, but the 3D printers that I started with 6 and 7 years ago that I still have in use today, they're 200 millimeter beds, and a lot of them now are like 240 at least. And but you know they're starting to get a little bigger. But the H series is 320 plus everywhere around, anywhere from 320 to 340, and so now with this bigger guy, I can do all of my models. I have 22 models on Etsy and eBay, and I can do every one of them up through HO scale. In HO scale, I don't have any pieces on any of my models in HO scale that have to have multiple pieces. Like there's not any one piece that has to be done in multiple sections. And then with my S scale models now, I only have like probably a handful of pieces that have to be joined with dovetail joints. I can do just about my whole fleet of models in S scale with this, with no pieces that have joints, no dovetail joints or anything like that. Pieces are all one solid piece. That's really important for the structural and the appearance of the model too, because you can see the seams. But not only this, that's right. We might need to look into that. Sparky wants us to tattoo his name on us. Anyway, this guy is significantly faster than the other printers that I have as well. And I mean, something like this took less than an hour, which was about 4 on the ender, or right about an hour. Really clean, nice clean pieces you see. And I still do it on the raft. That way they can paint it on there and pop it off. Now, actually, I've got to put this one together. This is up to me to put together. So this is basically, I think this was an hour and 20 minutes. Maybe that's an entire in-scale diner. And I'll be doing that. Oh, you don't want to see it? I'll be doing this lightly weathered for somebody. It's assembled. I'm probably going to just do a video on it rather than live streaming. Especially the way my back is doing right now and stuff. I don't know that I want to live stream an assembly and stuff, because I'm still making like really strange noises every once in a while. Like I'll get a pulse of pain through my back and I'll sound like somebody pushes me or something. I'll go, ugh. But alright, so this one here, this is Uncle Digger's cabin in the N scale. Somebody ordered this one assembled too. Elephant's feet. Are you talking about the raft, Bob? If you're asking if I intentionally print the raft, yes I do. And I do that because yeah, I did get a new printer, Dwight. That's what I was talking about. Hey, Klondike, good to see you, man. Yeah, man, it's awesome. I was going to talk more about it in a minute, but I think this was just a little under an hour. This is Uncle Digger's cabin in the N scale, and printed nice and clean. Let's see if y'all can see the... Nah, I don't have good light on it. And so I got to put that together for somebody. I have a Z scale. I showed Bob and them in the STS, Bob and John and Ray and all them in the Sidetrack Sunday chat, and Dave and Ray, Rick. I did a S scale drive-in, and it came out really clean. And I call it raft. Bob. And I've never used it. Well, I guess I have used a raft on my resin. Bob, but you don't do all resin, do you? Um, but yeah, the speed on it is really nice. And but man, it dances around up on that table. And so yeah, I mean that's what I was gonna say too, Klondike. People kind of use a raft to avoid elephant's foot. I thought elephant's foot is when the corner of your model lifted and deformed. That's what we call elephant's foot in filament normally. And then so the raft, what the raft does is, yeah, it's called a raft in the slicer. And what the raft does, man, is it, so like, I need to paint these, right? Well, this raft serves as a perfect holder for me to paint these. So I just paint these on the raft and then I pop them right off. It's super easy to pop off of there. I say that. Let me see. I haven't checked it. Yeah, look, pops right off. They're good holders. And then when I send these out to customers in kit form, now these aren't going out in kit form. I'm going to be doing these myself. But still, I send them out like this because they're nice little organizers and holders for the pieces. It doesn't take a ton of extra filament. And you know what? It also helps to ensure that your print is dummy proof. If you have made any little errors or anything, if you've got any little errors, the raft is going to help to ensure that your print sticks to the build plate. And not only that, while you're printing overnight, if you have a raft down, the fact that your raft is going to stick to the build plate because it's thick fat lines that are designed to intentionally stick, and then you got your piece that's printing down on top of the raft. And when you go overnight, if I print anything overnight that I'm going to be walking away from, even if it's for me, I do it on a raft because it helps me give me the peace of mind for an overnight print that I'm not going to have something come loose. And then you get that blob that comes out, goes into your nozzle, jumps back up into your nozzle, and you got hot filament that goes up into your nozzle and ruins the whole hot end. And so I'll use 20 grams of filament to do a raft. And if I'm going to be painting the pieces, I do a raft. If I'm going to be shipping the pieces out to a customer, I do a raft. And if I'm going to be walking away from the print for any period of time, particularly, or if overnight, if I'm leaving the house, I'm going to do it on a raft. Dwight, I'm going to tell you that if you do it, I am going to, at least at this point, it's kind of early for me to say, but I can recommend Bambu. There's some bells and whistles and things. Like I said, there could be some things that can break too. And if any of these bells and whistles break, I could be in trouble. But yeah, you always, like I said, I started using a raft pretty early, but I also started, with an Ender 3 7 years ago, 6.5 years ago now. And prints just didn't stick so good and things like that then like they do now. They just, things weren't as good as they are now. And the raft really got helpful. And you kind of, when you use a raft as much as I did over the years and years and years, I don't like not having one. It's almost like a fuzzy blanket to me or something. But, yeah, Dwight, I would definitely get the A1, and unless you need a large capacity bed. The A1's going to give you, I think, 240, 240, 240 everywhere, and you'll be able to do almost everything in HO, I would think. If you're going to do a trestle or something like that, you're going to have to join. But the beautiful thing about the Bambu Lab is if you do have a piece that's bigger than your A1 bed, they will auto cut it up and put connectors in it for you within the slicer. It's crazy. This is all stuff that I used to have to spend time doing in the CAD program in Tinkercad. And it'll cut them up and slice them for you. But not only will it cut it up for you, is it'll cut it up, it'll organize the prints into organized files to print, and it will make connections for you. Now, I think you need to go in and I think you need to go in and possibly adjust those connections a little bit, the size of them, because what I found is they always are way too snug, and so I'll make those a little bit smaller. But I do that with my dovetail joints too. If I'm going to if I'm going to join two pieces together, I should probably go get that. If I'm going to join two pieces together, let me do that. Oh, sorry, I'll be right back. This is the third time I wanted to show y'all this, so I decided, I'd get up and go get it. Alright. Alright. So, this is S scale drive-in. Alright, this is kind of like this base of a Sonic, right? And here is, let's see. Alright, both pieces of it. And so this is a pretty big piece right here, because this is S scale, and this is, I had to do this even dovetail joints on the Bambu. But if you see, I got those dovetail joints that I cut in there. Alright, like there and here. And so what I do is I actually make this size cutout 1/10 of a millimeter bigger all the way around. And it helps it to snap in easier. That way you don't have to use like a hammer or something to snap it in. Yeah, Bob, it's pretty big. So it took up the whole 320 or 340, almost the whole 340 bed. I guess it was like, the width was more than the length. But I think the lengths were about 320 and the widths were about 320 and the length is about 280 or something. So yeah, the footprint on this is pretty big. And then so you got that, and then you also have two of these to go on top. This is the roofing pieces. And see, on the roofing, if you remember, Bob, I was telling you that I don't do dovetails on a piece that's not flat. I do these openings with beams, and I'll glue the beams in on one side and slide in the other piece and do that. But yeah, we'll do through that. Yeah. I printed that on the new printer. Those are parking spaces. Yeah, they are. That's where you pull into order. And so, I printed that on the new printer. And then, here's your, I'm not going to be able to get a good picture. I should probably, let's see. Oh, dang it. That might help, but that's probably going to cause some other trouble. Here we go. Well, pretty good. I mean, I haven't challenged it, but the letters and stuff. Here's your wall pieces. And then finally, the little stalls that they order from. The beams and connects in the middle. And so we'll get that out tomorrow. But anyway, that's how we do the dovetail joints manually. But on the Bambu Studio, my understanding is you can go in pretty easily and open up the settings on it so they slide in nice and easy too. Sorry. And then I did a Z-scale ski lodge on the new printer already also. And so there's nothing running on the new printer right now. And the reason for that is the doggone thing is so fast. I got nothing I got nothing to print right now, except for some stuff I want to do for me, which I haven't gotten into and involved yet. Sorry about that. All right, let's get back to it. So, finally, you talking about me, Bob? I didn't know if you were talking to Klondike or to me. Um, yeah, the H2S is definitely a different price point. Now, that leads me into there's two other H versions, and if I had the money, I would get one of these. You have the Bambu Lab. You got the H2S, which I got. All right, and that's for single. S means single. They have the H2D also, which is dual. Two hot ends, two colors. Now, my single, I can put up to 6 AMS2 Pros on this H2S, which means I can print 24 colors at one time in one print. Now, each time, because there's one extruder and one hot end, each time that the print changed colors, it's got to retract the one color and insert the other color, right? And then start back. So you're looking at print time there. But if you're doing a few colors, it's not too terribly bad. Then you've got the H2D, which is dual. All right, you can also do 24 colors there, but you've got two nozzles to pull them from. All right, and so you would be able to, that although they won't work at the same time, you can have two colors loaded at once that don't have to change. Then it just has to change the nozzle, which can be done much more quickly and without waste. And finally, so the H2S is about $1,300 without the AMS2 Pro. I didn't get the 4-color option, because to add the 4 colors, I've got to add colors. I've got to add this AMS2 Pro system. It's a block, and I can do 4 colors at a time. So if I'll give them $300 more dollars, they'll send me the AMS2 Pro, and I can do 4 colors at once. I can put up to 6 of those together, daisy chain them together. Now, then you have the H2D, which is about $1,700, $1,800 without the AMS2 Pro. And that's where you can have 2 of your colors loaded at all times, and you don't have to wait for your print to stop to change to this color, for example, etc., and so on. And if this one's printing this color and this color needs to change, it can change this color while this one's printing, and then go to this one and save you time right there. All right. So finally, hey Dustin, how you doing, man? Good to see you. Finally, now that one's about $1,700, $1,800, about $600 more than mine, $400, $500 more than mine. They got the new one now called the H2C, and this is a vortex system that does not change filament color. This is a vortex system that changes the actual nozzle. So your nozzle is connected to, in the H2C, you have 6 nozzles. That can be, instead of 2 with the D, you have 6. But in the D, you have 2 hot ends. 2 whole new hot ends. Like we have on our printers, we all have 1 hot end. Well, in the H2C, you are not changing the hot end, is not changing. They are actually changing the nozzle that already has the filament in there. So the hot end changes the nozzle with a vortex system, which is even much faster and obviously is going to do a lot less waste, because it doesn't have to purge the new color each time unless it has to change from one of the 6 to one of the 24, if you see what I mean. So it really gets, it's intense now, and now we're up to about the $2,500 range. And so I definitely had to figure out about all the hype, and I did. So I tried it out, and I'm really glad I tried it. But and I hope I didn't get off on too big of a tangent about that. But they do have this new system, and it's good. And even the Vortex one will probably be outdated in a while, but it's a really good setup. I like their slicer. I like their lab, and so far I like the quality of the thing that I've gotten. I use Prusa, Raised 3D, and Ender or Creality, and so far this is my favorite. But it's brand new and it hadn't had time to mess up yet. So, now what's really cool about the little AMS2 thing where you put your, because I just saw Ray mention drying, and Bob, we were talking about dryers the other day. The new little AMS systems that I buy that'll hold 4 filament each, four rolls of filament each, that'll connect to the hot end. They have filament dryers and humidity things inside of the system. And so I'll just be able to set all 4 rolls to be at what X humidity for, at all times, and it'll keep it there so I won't have to worry about my drying, Bob. And because Bob was talking about that the other day, and Ray had just mentioned it. And so, hey, Happy Valley Hobbies, good to see you. Oh. Alright, and finally, I'm only off till Tuesday. It's Mardi Gras here. We usually have off Wednesday too, and we don't now. And finally, I had a guy who, y'all might have seen some of that. I don't know if y'all recall, I did a Z-Scale ski lodge, and it was, a Z-Scale chalet, and it was heavily weathered. I don't know if I did a video on that or not. I know I sent some of the guys some pictures, but I'm showing. But anyway, so the gentleman that I did the Z-Scale heavily weathered chalet for, he liked the work, and so he sent me a Marklin model to put together, and I'm going to be doing that with y'all over the next week or two. And so we're going to be doing this, let me see. Yeah, I know, I see that. Thank you, Bob. And I'm looking at that here on my end too. And the thing is it's like it's on my OBS, because it's, I wonder if, let me see if I can. Let's see if we can bring it back in this way. There we go. Maybe that'll help. Let's see. It's still too bright, man. I can't see anything to think. Alright. There we go. Alright. That's a little better. Alright. So, he sent me this Marklin apartment house to complete for him. And he didn't want this one heavily weathered. He just said he wanted it to not look new. And so I'm going to be assembling this for a customer over the course of the next a couple weeks, I guess it'd probably take. I'm not going to rush it. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to probably switch the camera over to look down at the desk, and I'm going to open this up and we'll look more at it. Yes. I just, and I know there's a 0.4 I'm missing, but I just always, to do quick math, Dwight, just think of the millimeter as 25, and 1 inch is being 25 millimeters, and you can do math pretty quick and get real close in your head on that. Ow. Let's see. We'll switch it like this, and switch here. All right. Yeah, James, I think Bambu is made in China. I do, but they have they have places over here. When we buy, if you buy, well, you're in a different situation, but in the U.S., if you buy from them, you're buying from a U.S. store here. But yeah, they are. Oh, this Z-scale stuff. What did I get myself into? Alright, let's see. Yeah, you want to get if you're going to get a Bambu, Dwight, you want to get an H then. And like I said, the one that I have over here, um, I don't know that I'll ever need more than 4 colors for the walls and the models that we do at once. I mean, I'm just thinking, to be honest, I'm thinking what? What do I need? Light brown, dark brown, white, maybe black, and then so I go into the other one, and if I did gray, red, blue, and green, I could never paint. I mean, and that's just 2 of those things. So with the AMS system, I mean, it's about $1,500. But if you, since you've experienced Creality and the challenges that can come with that, I mean, my Crealities have treated me well. I mean, I'm still making models with one that's 6.5 years old. I mean, they're $189, and I got them 6 years ago, and they're still making models. But the difficulties that you faced with the Creality, once you get a Bambu, you'll probably breathe well. One of the things that I wanted, Dwight, is even though I had gotten to the point where I could take my Ender 3s all the way apart and put them back together. In the Prusa MK3, I can take it all the way apart and put it back together. And I have taken the Raise 3D E2 apart, but I had help with somebody on a Zoom meeting. But even though I'm able to do all that stuff, and people actually get me on camera in the evenings when their printers are broken and pay me to help them fix them, I wanted a pretty much plug-and-play, dummy-proof printer. And that's what they are. And when I say dummy-proof, it's just they have features on them that prevent you from making lots of little mistakes that we're able to make on the thing. Yeah, well, Dwight, you probably have your belts are probably getting loose on it. Okay, so over time those belts will stretch, and that's going to create axis issues. Certainly, your extruder gear, the lever on your extruder gear is probably, and the screws on there have probably stripped and are bad, or either have to be adjusted. I don't know exactly how much work you did on yours yourself, but what kind of problems are you having, Dwight? Hey, Almar, good to see you, man. Woof. Let's see here. We're gonna get the instructions, look a little deeper. I'm wondering if I could help Dwight get that running while he could save up his money to get a good one. The whole thing. Is that what's giving you problems, though? What's giving you problems? I guess I don't need to know what you fixed. I need to know what's not working. Man, this guy gives bad instructions just like me. Dang. I was hoping for something a little better. Wow. No. Happy Valley. It is an old kit, Bob, and the instructions don't. There is no print, it's images. I wish it was in large print. I wish it was in any print. It keeps plugging up at the hot end. Alright, so what you did is, I bet that your heat break has gotten old. Alright, what's happened is your heat break has gotten old, possibly. And so what's happening is, after time, the heat break will go bad or get old or whatever. But anyway, the nozzle is touching this heat break, and that keeps the heat from the nozzle to get up into the filament up too high, so it doesn't melt up here, and it doesn't melt till it hits the nozzle. And if your heat break gets bad, and you needs to be replaced, that what'll happen is you'll get heat creep, and the nozzle will heat up and will start to heat your heat sleeve up that's not supposed to get hot, and the heat will creep up here, and your filament will start melting up here instead of down at the nozzle, and then it won't go down to the nozzle because it's melting up here. That's one possibility, but there's a few others too. You replace the heat break, all right? So, this is silly, but is the table that your 3D printer on, and have you made sure that there's nothing under any of the legs of the printer? If the printer is not perfectly level, and if you during time, say a piece of filament gets under one of the legs and jacks up one of the legs a little bit, it can cause that as well. Everything on it but the main board, and to include the belts. But I don't think the belts would be causing your nozzle to clog at the hot end. The amount of pressure you have at the extruder gear on that handle, you know how hard the extruder gear is digging into the filament, that can cause what you're talking about. The heat creep can cause what you're talking about. The printer not being level can cause what you're talking about. Thank you, JD. Appreciate you. Well, yeah, Klondike, that's a good idea too. If his cooling fans, the front, well, either one of them, if either one of those cooling fans on the hot end are old, and I've replaced all mine, but he said he replaced, I only tighten the belt. I have a new fan on it, alright. I know you put a new nozzle in there. Have you checked the tension on the extruder handle? You know that the gear, the handle you push in so you can feed the filament. Have you checked to see if that is entirely too tight? Too tight or too loose can cause that as well. But mainly too loose is just you're gonna hear clicking and slipping. But too tight, what happens is, if your filament is going through that extruder gear and that extruder gear is too tight on the filament, it'll chew the filament up before it gets to the nozzle. Yeah. What might be the problem? The tension on your extruder gear handle? Because if that's too, and what happens is, if your extruder gear, over time, that extruder gear handle tightens and tightens and tightens and tightens and tightens. All right, you got to kind of keep loosening that over time. If you've never loosened that gear, it's gotten really tight. And I don't even know if that's what you're talking about, but oh yeah, if you see marks on the filament, your extruder gear is definitely too tight. All you're gonna do, Dwight, is it's on the handle usually, the one that goes into the handle that moves. If you'll back that one off and loosen it a little bit, it's fine. But also sometimes you can loosen the knot on the actual extruder gear cog too. But you want to be careful about doing that, and you want to do it very, very small amounts at a time. What I would hope is that if you did like a half a turn on one of those, your print would do longer before it messed up. And then if that's the case, we want to do another half of the turn. But you don't want to go too far, because then you get, you know what I mean? I don't know about all that, but that'd be fine. We could do that. If if that was if that would be helpful. But Bob, I do that in the evenings. I work for a tutoring company in the evenings, and I do 3D printing tutoring. And so people, they buy their new machines and they'll call on me, and I'll help them get them set up and get them running. And then invariably, as you know, over the course of time, they'll have mistakes that'll happen and things like that, and they'll reach back out to me to come in and fix their issues. And sometimes it's fun, and other times it's not. I'm working with a father-daughter team right now. Santa Claus brought her a new 3D printer. That's fun as heck, you know what I mean? But every once in a while, I get these idiot men who think they bought a paper printer and get it home and don't know how to use it, and they're mad as heck because they spent $700 and they can't get it to work, and they've probably messed up 4 or 5 things in the process of trying to get it to work that I got to go in and fix, and they're not very pleasant people, and so, you know. So, hey, Wild Bill, good to see you, man. How tight is that spring on that? The spring, let me see what all right, Dwight, I don't know that the spring is as big of a deal. I don't think the spring that you're talking about is connected to what I'm talking about that could be causing your problem. I know what spring you're talking about. You're talking about the spring between, it's touching the lever over there, but I don't think the tightness on that spring is the thing. It's the other part of that handle. The part, not the end, the part that's connected at the 90 down there. Not the end of the handle, this part. The part on the inside. It should have a bolt right there at the 90 degree on the inside, and that's the bolt I'd like for you to loosen. Yeah. Yeah, so I would check that. And also you could even maybe search up picture extruder gear too tight for, and you know, put in your model number and see which screw you should loosen. But I'm almost 100% it's the one on the top, and you'll be looking straight down at it. The handle, it's opposite of the end of the handle that you squeeze, and I bet that screw has gotten too tight right there. Hey Jeff, how you doing, man? It you know, it sounds like you've checked a lot and you've done a lot, and so I've fixed this problem myself after repairing and replacing a lot of things, and none of those things were what was needed to be repaired and replaced. So, um, I just find resin miserable. I don't like it. Uh, some people love it, but man, it's dirty and it's nasty, and everything gets sticky. Everything gets sticky, and it doesn't. Even if you clean it, it's still a little sticky. Everything you touch is still a little sticky. All the tools are still a little sticky. Everything is, and when you touch those things, guess what? You are a little sticky everywhere too. And I don't know. I love filament. I mean, now, granted, I do models in 1 to 450 for people, and so if I do that, we're gonna need some liquid. But um, it's not a whole lot of fun to me. And I mean, I'm gonna tell you what. If you aren't if you're somebody who doesn't keep your airbrush real super clean, you don't need to be messing with resin printing. Because you're not going to like, if you don't like the process of cleaning the airbrush and all that, then you ain't going to like the process of resin printing. I mean, now again, if you're a T-scale modeler or even maybe a Z-scale modeler, you might need that. And if you're wanting to do figures or wargaming things and things that take facial contours like Bill does wargaming, and that's I'm sure why he's got it. He's doing his people and stuff, and you need resin to do that. You can get really, really good results. If you want to do a bobblehead of you or your family, you might want that. But if you're doing model railroad structures normally, you're gonna want filament. Oh man, and it's just sticky and just sticky. Well, I love the airbrush though. I really do. I love airbrushing, but I tell you what, I would much rather print the like I do a lot of walls, and my walls will still be printed flat, but I'll be able to print. Oh, I'm on the wrong camera. I'll be able to print my walls flat with the like doors and window frames already on there. So I got a tan wall with a white window frame and a white door frame with a brown door on it, right? I'm not gonna have to glue those pieces in there and stuff, so they're gonna be seated perfectly properly. Yeah, so Klondike, in the Bambu studio now, you can set the ironing. And so I can iron my layers after they're done and not have any layer lines. And now even they figured out that if you on your really small structures, like if you are doing a T-scale or a very small person on the filament printer, that if you'll do like a block or a tower beside it, that'll give the printer, and Bob, this might be valuable to you, and I think David might already know this, but if say you're doing a figure in filament, the reason why our figures don't look good in filament is because the layers don't have time to cool between moving to the next layer. By the time it moves to the layer above, the layer below is not cooled yet. And so if you do like a tower, like a rectangle or a block off to the side of your figure that's the same height of your figure, your nozzle will come over and do your little figure piece, right? And then it's going to jump over and do the whole rectangle. Well, while it's doing this rectangle, which you don't need and is a waste of filament, but while it's doing that, the layer on your figurine over here is drying or dried. So once it does the layer of the rectangle, it comes back and does the next layer on your figure. And because the layer below it was dry, it's going to lay more appropriately and look more like you're going for. So yeah. But there's also a setting in the Elegoo, because I'm working with an Elegoo client, Bob, and the Elegoo client uses. We talked about that. He's using the Elegoo slicer and Orca, and you can iron in that as well. Well, reducing the print speed is fine, Bob, but you still, and I guess let's say you're doing 15 HO scale figures. Well, that's going to give your layers some time to dry while it's going around to each of them, right? But if you're only doing like one or two, and it doesn't have time to move, oh, I apologize, Dave. So what they're doing is people are doing a dummy block beside their small detailed items when they're doing them in filament. So it gives the small detailed item the layer time to dry. So it's going over, or yeah. So it's doing the layer, and then it's going over and doing a garbage piece, like a rectangle piece, to give the detailed little tiny layered piece time to dry. So when it comes back over and lays the next layer, the bottom layer below it has dried and it doesn't smush down into it and change the detail and the look of the model. And so they're doing like a dummy piece beside fine detail pieces to give the layers more time to dry. And Bob, I don't think that you could really slow it down, and I mean you'd have to slow it way down, and unless you had a bunch of figures for it to jump around to. But yeah, I just learned, I just picked up on that one, and see that's what's kind of cool about like helping people with different machines and things like that, is I learn a lot about the different machines. But not only that, when they have problems. And they give me money to solve them. I get to figure out some stuff, and so sometimes the folks will be, they'll buy time and they'll have a good bit left, and they'll want to learn how to do some things that I didn't already know how to do, and I'll get to go learn it as well. So little things like that. But ladies and gentlemen, I have to thank y'all very much for putting up with me tonight and the Sidetrack Sunday, guys. Thank y'all for letting me be a part of this. I got to go get back horizontal though, because I am fidgeting myself right now. And I thank each and every one of y'all for being here and letting me be a part of this, being a part of the model railroad community that we got around here. We are coming into March, heading into it, and we're going to be getting busy with the models again. I've got a Z-scale mini layout that I'm still working on. I do plan to, as soon as I can get my garage cleaned out from Christmas, we're going to get back on the Z-scale part of there. And Bill, I got some questions I want to talk to you about that next time we get a chance to. I got some things I want to bounce off your head. But I got some things to do, but for customers, but I got some things to do for me too, and we're gonna do hopefully some new exciting things over here with this new printer as well. Particularly, thank you, Happy Valley Hobbies. Particularly when we're able to do these multiple colors and things, we're gonna be doing some streams and showing how we do all that. I tried to do an unboxing video on this. I tried to make an unboxing video for this, and I thought the video would do really well. But I was so nervous and careful and paid so much attention and was so methodical about getting this thing taken apart properly and set up properly that I just quit shooting video about halfway through, because I was worried some more about the video than getting the thing set up properly. So I said, screw that. Excuse my French. But anyway, y'all have a good night. I'm going to lay down, and I thank y'all for being here with me, and we will see y'all again real soon. Can we get an advertisement for our next Sidetrack Sunday show next Sunday? Who's going to be doing that? I think it's Bob. I'm almost sure it's Bob, but I could be wrong. Did Bob do last week? Hey, thank you very much. I sure do appreciate you. That's Life with Roscoe. Thank you very much. I appreciate you, Roscoe. If you are Roscoe. I guess Life with Roscoe doesn't mean you're Roscoe, but I sure do appreciate that. Thank you so much. And I hope y'all have a good night. Who is? Yeah, I'm gonna do that, Bill. And who is that, John? Who's streaming tomorrow night? Bob. It is Bob. Okay, so we're all gonna hang out at Bob's next Sunday. Bob's got some exciting new models that I don't know if he's actually disclosing that or not yet, so I'm going to shut up about it. But Bob's got some exciting new stuff going on, so we'll be with him next week, and we hope to see y'all there. Thank you, Rafe, John, Dave, Rick, and who am I forgetting? And Bob for letting me be a part of this with y'all. Y'all have a good evening. We'll see y'all soon. Thank y'all for all joining us. I appreciate y'all coming tonight. Have a good one.